So today we're going to speak about when you've got into the shape that you really want to be in and you are wanting to move away from measuring all of your food. For some, this will be really, really important from the environment that they're in, whether it's the family, whether it's the social norm, whether it's just something that they don't feel that they want to do for the rest of their lives. And that's absolutely fine. There will be people watching this video that will continue to measure foods and they will enjoy that and can put that in their lifestyles and will do that for the rest of their lives, and that's absolutely fine. I am definitely one of those. When you're on this side of the coin and you want to move away from measuring those foods, you want to move into something that's a little bit more easy, that doesn't require the metrics and the thought process of being super restrictive or really calculated, you're going to have to make this a really large scale transition. When you're in the shape that you want to be in, you've held it for a period of time, that's when you really want to be able to do this. You don't want to do this straight after you finished your diet. You don't want to do this when you're still trying to figure out your lifestyle and actually how to stay in shape. You want to do it when you firmly put yourself in the position of you're staying in shape and you are ready to make some changes to your lifestyle, to the setup of your nutrition, so that you can get that benefit that you want. I definitely wouldn't advise it any time before that. When you're doing this, it will move very astutely from measuring food to utilizing more portion sizes. Now, the beauty of portion sizes is that no one is holding you accountable to how much you put on your plate apart from yourself. And if you put two or three more portions on your plate, it's only you who you're kidding, and it will only be you who gains the body fat or gains the calories on a day-to-day basis from doing that. Moving from measurements to portions requires a lot more self-discipline. It requires a lot more to be cruel, to be kind to yourself, and a lot more self-care when you know that you could eat more, you may be hungry and you feel that you want more, but you have to stay to your portion sizes because that's what you want to do in the long term from a physical perspective and to keep your body nourished in the right specific way. Now, how do you do this? You want to move away, let's talk about protein sources first. So when you're doing protein sources, for the most part, they're either done in measures or portions, such as let's say vegetarian stuff like tofu, mung dal, paneer. They're all done in like blocks of stuff that you have to cut up, or dry stuff that you have to boil or cook. Those things will be done in portion sizes, and you want to look at things like a plate. So I have this plate here that's really useful to look at and to give you those guidelines. So one plate. And like every single meal, if you're doing those mung dal, if you're doing paneer, you want to try and get something that covers a quarter of the plate. So as you see here, it's protein, the salmons, the chickens, the eggs. You can just get a quarter of a plate full of those foods. And over time, you'll get better at that, cooking the food, understanding how much of that it is. And that will give you an easy portion size to manage. For things like chicken breast, for things that you've been weighing maybe 150, 200 grams worth on a day-to-day basis, you can now move to singular things. So you can move to, one chicken thigh or one chicken breast or, one salmon fillet, one steak fillet. Instead of worrying about whether it's 180 grams, 200 grams or 220 and moving around that, you can just go with the whole, just one event, one of those things. And that way it will move from you having to measure things into a point of that you just click singulars. So you're just having like one chicken breast in that meal, then you're having your vegetables and you're having your carbohydrates, or you're having that quarter plate of protein source that we just spoke about, and then the rest of the stuff is filled in as we're going to speak about in a minute. So you're moving away from weighing and you're moving to either a portioned amount or you're moving towards a singular amount. For most part, that will serve them well. Over time, you may need to adjust that. Let's say if your body weight is going down or you're losing weight when you're not supposed to be, that means that you'll obviously be under eating and that you can change things, and then you can add more of a portion to your day-to-day. Now, when you're looking at carbohydrate sources, you can also make these singular things also. So if you've been having like 200 grams of fruit or 150 grams of fruit, you can now change that to either, a specific bowl of fruit that you utilize every single day for the same bowl, or you choose like singular items of an apple, banana, kiwi, and you get the same amounts so that you don't have to think about, it's 150 grams or it's 50 grams of kiwi or it's 60 grams of kiwi. You just have one kiwi, or if it's 120 grams, you have two kiwis. And then you go into those singular amounts, so now you're not weighing things, you're just picking stuff up out of the fridge and eating it, and that's going to be much better. So you're missing a step when it comes to that measuring, which is absolutely fantastic. And then in the other carbohydrate sources, apart from the singular items, you're going to use the plate exactly the same again. So for most people, you want to use a quarter plate. For some people that are wanting to stay in those low 40s and low 50s for females, you're probably going to have to play around with this a little bit more. Some of your meals may not have to include carbohydrates, and some of them, depending on how much activity you do, some of them may have to be carb free just to reduce the calories in your overall day, because you don't burn as many as other people do, or your higher body weights do. But for most part, you could have 2 meals with protein, carbohydrates and vegetables in, and that would be absolutely fine. And using the plate as your portion would give you an ample amount of calories. So that gives you a way to change your thought process from measuring things to now just estimating things based on portion sizes of a plate and portion sizes of singular things, as opposed to weighing them. Now, the only thing to say around this method is that you need to spend time developing this and homing this craft. It's not going to be easy. Like I said, the self-discipline, the regulation of your hunger, and making sure that you're accountable to yourself is critical. You're not going to be able to do this if you're a person that lets yourself get away with things very, very easily when you're tired, or when you're in that situation where you know no one else is watching. So when you're ready to commit to this type of element, you'll have that self-discipline to know that the book falls with you. And it's a trial and error period between 2 to 3 months, so that when you can go through this, you can see if you're eating enough or eating too much, and your body weight can fluctuate, and your pictures can show us whether you are in the right space or time with your guesstimating, or you need to go and be a bit more accurate with your portion sizes to come back into that healthy, or that range that you want to be in. So once you've done that and you know that it's going to be trial and error, you have that self-discipline, then you'll be able to transition into that too.